Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles the Bands. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a fantastic show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, one of the comments that we get pretty often on our channel is, what are you guys going to do when LeBron James retires? What are you going to talk about? Where are you going to get views from? Where are you going to get your money from? Blah, 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 blah. And when people always said this, one of the things I always used to think to myself was, I wonder if they ask bigger networks like ESPN and FS1, I wonder if they ask them this thing. Like, what are you guys going to do when LeBron retires? What are you going to do? And then I quickly found out that they never asked him that question because they think, well, these guys are just going to, they're going to make money, whatever, whatever. And I always say to them, I'm like, look, one of the reasons LeBron is discussed so much is because it generates dollars. Now, the question then becomes, why is LeBron discussed as much as he is? Apart from the fact that he's an excellent NBA player and an all-time great. They do it because the league needed somebody to compare to the biggest cash cow that ever existed for the NBA, which is Michael Jordan. Have you ever noticed, have you ever asked yourself the question, even for LeBron fans watching the show, have you ever noticed that they always compare everybody to Michael Jordan? Do you notice that they never compare people to LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or anybody else? Hasn't it occurred to you guys yet that the reason they compare him to Jordan is because he's clearly the standard and the best player ever? He's the one that they're always looking for who they'll compare him to. And I've always said that this comparison, this fake GOAT debate, has been made up of a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's a media invention. And the reason it is done is because to create views and create attention. A lot of it is rage baiting, by the way. And I've said that the person that benefits the most from this is LeBron, because what ends up happening is that he ends up having a false feeling of like, oh man, I'm really compared to Jordan. They really think I'm good as Jordan. It's like, no, they're just comparing you because they need to make money and you're the next best person that they can think of. So they're going to use you as the person that they're going to compare him to. But in reality, most of these guys behind closed doors, they don't even think this thing is a debate at all. But nevertheless, they need something to talk about. And when you retire, they're going to look for the next player to compare to Jordan. And then when that person retires, they're going to look for the next player. And that's how it works, because they need to make their money. So as I was doing some research this morning, I came across a pretty interesting report from Awful Announcing with the following headline that I want to read for you. It says, Stephen A. Smith, Marcus Spears defend constant GOAT debates. It gets the most views. These are the comments that I want to focus on today. But before we even get into what this report had to say and the sound that these guys had between each other, this video is brought to you by a sponsor, Game Time. One of the things I love the most is making unforgettable memories with family and friends. And one of the things I hate the most is overpaying for tickets only to find out that there was a better deal out there. That's one of the reasons I started using Game Time. Game Time is the easy go-to app for last-minute tickets to sports, concert, and theater events across 60+ states in the US and Canada. Game Time saves me time, money, and stress by curating only the best deals, so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time scrolling through overpriced tickets. Game Time Picks is my favorite tool. It highlights the best value seats instantly. No more guesswork, no more wasting time. For example, I'm really looking forward to game 1 between the Clippers and the Nuggets in round 1. Here's what I like to do. I turn on all-in pricing so I know exactly what I'm paying for up front. I check Game Time Picks to find out the most valuable deals. And finally, I pick the ticket I want. I choose between the cheapest deal, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, Whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So, as a matter of fact, let's play what they had to say first, and then I'm going to come back and read the article. Take a listen to what these guys had to say.
Bringing up presidents from the 1800s, the 19th century, the 20th century, comparing, this guy to that guy and what have you. All of these things happen. You do the same thing in life, no matter what it is, because it's a litmus test of what defines greatness and who truly, truly measures up to it. And what were the elements and ingredients that made them great? And instead of people embracing and accepting that, they look at it as you throwing shade on them when they're not appreciating the fact that you're in the conversation means that you matter. You're that significant. You're that special compared to 99.99% of the world. And that, to me, is nothing wrong with that, as long as you make that clear, which I think we do. It's just that the society that we live in has recognized how to monetize taking it in an opposite direction just for clickbait purposes.
See, I knew because obviously, Stephen A. been on this platform with you long enough to understand your perspective. You've been in this for a long time. That's why I specifically wanted to have this conversation with you, especially on First Take, because to your point, people love, as much as we get the vitriol about LeBron and Michael Jordan, it gets the most likes and clicks anytime we talk about it. But you'll think that society is tired of it. They're not tired of it. They say it because it's popular to be in the comments with everybody else, but they're not tired of it because it gets the most.
Okay, fantastic. So you heard what they had to say. Let me just read a little bit. It says, debates across eras in sports, such as the GOAT debate, have been discussed ad nauseum on sports debate shows like First Take. But no matter how tired the discussion may be for some, don't expect the topic to go away anytime soon, especially if Stephen A. Smith has anything to say about it. While some athletes see it as an honor to be compared to some of the game's legends, others see it as a slight when media members discuss modern-day players in a negative light compared to players in the past. On Tuesday's edition of First Take, Stephen A. Smith outlined how comparisons to figures in the past exist in every walk of life, citing how U.S. presidents are often compared to each other all the time. And then Marcus Spears chimed in, and then it says, what Smith and Spears seemingly don't realize is that some people disapprove of the GOAT debate topic, not because of the practice of comparing players from different eras. Instead, the topic has been unpopular because of its sheer overexposure, especially when the conversation doesn't belong. Now, let's break this down. LeBron is being compared to Michael Jordan because it's a vehicle to make money. It's a vehicle for Nike to make money. It's a money play. They don't really care if it's true or not. What they care is that the debate exists. The reason I say they don't care it's true, whether it's true or not, is because when you sit down and listen to people have this debate, you'll realize it's just a bunch of nonsense that's being said. Look, Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. I can't make a legitimate argument for Kobe being better than Jordan. I've looked at LeBron's career from beginning to finish, to beginning to the present moment. There's nothing about his career that would make me say, you know what, this guy's better than. There's nothing. And given the fact that you can't make an argument for Kobe being the GOAT over Jordan, you can't make an argument for LeBron being a GOAT over Jordan. Therefore, whatever argument you try to make, you know is going to be rooted in some type of flawed logic or reasoning or point. You know that. So whenever this conversation is now being had, you know it's just a bunch of foolishness because the premise is off. There's an error in the premise. But nevertheless, they still do it. Now, I want to go back to the original point that I said, which was people ask me, what are you going to talk about with LeBron James? What are you going to talk about with LeBron James? Why don't you ask them what they're going to talk about? But the fact of the matter is, there's always going to be something to talk about. Do you know how I know this? Because the NBA existed before there was LeBron. So why would it stop existing after him? The reason they continue to talk about him so much in comparison to Jordan is because it's the number one moneymaker. And most of the times when I'm talking about LeBron versus Jordan, I'm not agreeing with them. I'm disagreeing with them, which is an issue that a lot of his supporters have. Therefore, they now turn around and ask me this dumbass question of, what are you going to talk about when LeBron James? Why, do you think they asked Nick Wright that? Do you think they asked Shannon Sharp that? What are they going to talk about? When do you think they ask all of these twerking ass LeBron James content creators on it? You think they ask? Of course not. Of course not. In their mind, he's not retiring for them. So let me get this straight. If LeBron retires and we stop making money, but then you got all of these guys that sit up there and twerk it up all day long and pour honey all over each other's booties for LeBron James, then when he retires, how are they gonna make money? Oh, I never thought about that because that wasn't my point. The point is, let me pocket watch a little bit and then assume, oh, you ain't gonna be able to, bro. We've been here before. I'm not gonna get into this whole thing that I got into a few weeks ago. The point I'm making is this debate, it is based off of them making money for clicks and views, and it has absolutely zero to do with substance. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of guys, especially some former NBA player guys that are getting into the sports media space, have now realized, I think the quickest way for me to get to the top is let me twerk it up for LeBron. I'm not going to say y'all names, but some of you dudes know who you are. All of a sudden, y'all are huge LeBron James supporters, and I'm looking at you dudes like, yo, y'all are acting a little bit weird right now. But I get it. You got to get your bag, so you got to go up there and sit up there and twerk it up. I understand. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show, and I'm out. Peace.